Hi there. My name is Neil Anderson. I'm the founder of SkillShark, and I'm glad you joined us. This presentation is going to be covering the legend tier features that we have in our software. The last webinar that we held, it was about the all-star tier, the tier below legend. And just as a quick recap, some of the things that were covered on there. And I'm just gonna, with my screen shared, I'll just go into a quick review of what was covered in the last webinar regarding the All-Star series. This is a sample baseball demo group that we have. We do all sports, but this just happens to be baseball. And some of the things that you'll be able to do with SkillShark is in the report section, you can get into, obviously, the individual reports for athletes. So being able to show how they scored. You can also have versus the group average and that kind of good stuff. You can also get into trending development of your athletes over time. So you'll be able to track their progress and close that loop in their minds about how they're getting better. And a bunch of other different reports that you get in the all-star level. I won't go into all of them. Customizable templates, so you can set up the metrics to be whatever the heck you want it to be. Athlete self-assessments was on the all-star level, so you can ask questions like, how would you rate yourself as being a coachable athlete? How would you rate yourself as having a team attitude? And they respond to those questions in the SkillShark app, and you get to see as the coach what's going on inside your athletes' minds, which is very good insight to have. You can draft teams automatically in SkillShark if you want, either in a balanced or ranked team fashion, where you put all the best players on team A, the next clump of the best players on team B, etc. Or like I say, in a balanced fashion, where you might have 100 athletes and you're separating them onto X number of teams, and it'll automatically draft those players. In the case of hockey, you would do potentially, sort your defensemen first, then your forwards, goalies, that kind of thing, and do it separately. Leaderboards was covered, where you can, especially for sport academies, if you're measuring objective measurements like times, velocities, verticals, that kind of thing, then you can have leaderboards either set up as on a TV in your academy or as a hyperlink on your website and drive traffic to your website. And lastly, message center. So on the all-star tier, you're able to, send out messages to the athletes, evaluators, that kind of thing, and save those messages as templates should you want to reuse it for next year. So getting into the legend tier, some of the biggest differences that we're going to cover, and this won't be a very long meeting. We'll probably just take the next 10 minutes to review it very quickly. The first thing that you'll be able to do is the coach security level. So what that is, for example, in this group that I've got a bunch of evaluators and admins. So we'll just go over the security levels here very quickly. If I invite somebody as a evaluator, that means that they get asked to download the SkillShark app from the store. They can see whatever events you've invited them to. They can gather data, take videos, add comments, and send it up for you and your admins to analyze. The admins in the group can run reports, analyze data, and you can choose with some security levels what they have access to. And you can also, and then the main level above that is the owner. There's a single owner for every group, and that person has full rights as to what they can do within the group. Now we're going to talk about this latest security role that we announced called the coach security role. So put yourself in the shoes of, you just did a bunch of tryouts, you ran a bunch of weighted reports, you sorted kids onto teams. Once you've assigned those kids to teams, it'd be very nice. So many groups are going to mid-season evaluations or postseason evaluations where they ask the coach to do just a quick evaluation of, the kid's progress at the middle of the season, at the end of the season. Well, you may not want that coach to have full visibility to all the other athletes in the system. So what the coach security role does is it allows them to be assigned to a team, and we'll just go through an example. Let's say and we'll just do a manual creation of teams. Here I've made this weighted report where I've assigned different values for what makes a top player. I hit view, and then I can go ahead and manually add these kids to teams. So for example, let's say this kid's on team A, this kid's on team B, etc. And then you can just quickly assign these kids. If you were doing this in one of our different reports, you could have the team automatically be drafted. But in this case, I'm just showing it manually. And once I've got those teams created, I can then go over here in the left menu to the team section. And for this team, if I wanted to edit it, I can assign whoever I've got listed as a coach. And if you remember from our users page, Ben Browning was the one coach that we had in there. So I can assign that coach to that team, send him a notification that his team roster is there. He can go into SkillShark, but he'll only be able to see his roster of athletes. If he goes and creates a mid-season evaluation event for gathering data, he'll only be able to add his athletes to that event. So very nice feature that we launched. The main last thing that we're going to cover very quickly, and it's probably the best thing we ever launched in SkillShark, is developmental resources. So let's take a look very quickly at an individual report. I'll just select a bunch of data here, and let's say I'm viewing this kid's report. I'm going to turn on the ability that I want to see what the average score is as well. So go down here, save changes. So now I can see the kid score versus the group average. I might have in here things like comments from the evaluators where they said, hey, what the kid needs to work on, that kind of thing. I could also have taken videos of the kid during tryouts as to, it could be the kid in the box taking some cuts, or on the court in volleyball or basketball, whatever the sport may be. But in the end, this report card is effortlessly ready to go the second your tryouts are done. Now, the key thing about developmental resources is you can set up rules in SkillShark. So put yourself in the shoes of the parents or the athletes. When you were growing up playing sports, did you ever once get any professional feedback from your organization? If you did, you're probably in the 1% or less that ever received something tangible to take home. If you're those athletes and parents and want feedback, you want to know what you need to do to place better next year. The parents absolutely want to know, hey, coach, just tell me what I need to work with my kid on the weekends, and I'll do it. I'll put in the time and make that kid a better athlete. But I just got to know what it is that I need to work on. So in SkillShark, you can set up rules. So for example, in this case of hitting mechanics in baseball, I went out and I found this fantastic video on YouTube. So I just copy and paste the URL for that video, give it a title, and it doesn't have to be a video. It can be any web link. It could be a web page that talks about the importance of proper nutrition. It could be a web page talking about the importance of being a good team player and being a coachable athlete, those kind of things. Whatever it is, and then I make the visibility rule. I want that developmental resource to appear on any kid's report card that scores lower than blanket of 10 on whatever the specific metric involved in. In this case, it's hitting mechanics. I can also make it age dependent. So I could have a player list of players in SkillShark for a certain age, and I could say this video applies to kids between 13 and 15. It doesn't apply for the really young kids, that kind of thing. So very customizable that way. And when you set up that rule, if we go back to this report card, let's go ahead and take a look at Ted Williams' report card again. At the very bottom, it will appear in a section called Recommended Resources. And so if you think about this, you set up that rule once, and you can automatically distribute material only to the kids who need it. So for academies, what a lot of academies that use SkillShark do is they will make their own developmental videos that explain things that the way they want to do things, have it watermarked with their brand, and it's a great way to distribute branded developmental material out to the kids. Again, only to the ones who need that specific information. So fantastic. It's absolutely the best thing we ever launched in SkillShark, being used by many organizations around the globe. The one last main thing on Legend that you get is priority support. If you had a camp or a session on a Saturday morning that starts at 8 o'clock, chances are if you text our support line at 10 p.m. on the Friday before, you're probably going to get a response within 30 seconds. Other support angles we've got a chat room or a intercom chat line that you can do right on the website, as well as the phone number. So many different support levels. We also have a very excellent resource hub here right on the website. So I can go to the resource hub and find help on many different topics. Could be video tutorials. There's an Evaluator frequently asked sheet that you can print off as a PDF and give it to your evaluators before the event. Tons of information there exists on the resource hub. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time and thank you for joining this webinar. And if you have any questions at all, just please send the questions to support@skillshark.com and we'd be happy to answer them for you. With that, have a great rest of the day and we will talk to you later. Thank you.